today.
And we are live. The Dodgers take Game 1 of the NLCS. And we are joined by our friends here from Talk Dodgers to Me, Jacqueline and Melissa. And we'll get into it here momentarily. But we're joined by a special guest. Some of you, if you listen to the games, if you watch the games, you know this man very well. He's one of the several voices of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Neverett. Timmy.
Woo! Woo! Love it. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us. So real quick, before we get emotional about how this all went down, I wanted to ask you.
I mean,
hey, you came ready.
I was unprepared. I should have done that too.
hey, go for it. We've even got Dodgers wine glasses.
Hey, Blake Snell was unhittable, untouchable. He was dominant. We'll talk about the stats in a second. Were you surprised that he did not come out in the ninth inning?
Yes.
Yes and no. Yes, because he'd thrown 103 pitches. This is the NLCS. He was untouchable. I thought they'd get him, be the bottom of the order coming up 7, 8, 9. I thought they'd give him a chance, maybe. But one of the things that we always do is we always look down in the dugout between innings. And that's when you find out how he's greeted when he comes off the field. And with Sasaki warming up and him getting ready to come into the game, they figured he'd done enough for 8 innings.
Mm-hmm. And he has. He has
did.
Stuff, right? But it's
I wasn't surprised they went to Sasaki, but I was thinking that this would have been a case for a complete game. The Dodgers haven't had one all year.
Yeah.
I think the last. Can you tell me who the last pitcher for the Dodgers to pitch a complete game was?
Oh man, that's a great question, Tim.
I'll just give it to you. Right, Gavin Stone.
Okay.
Okay. White Sox 2 years ago. So it goes back a way, but I thought that if there was an opportunity to pitch a complete game, this would be it. But he did his job for 8 innings, and they figured with the way Sasaki's been pitching, he can come out and get 3 outs at the bottom of the order. It got a little bit more dramatic, however.
I know. I mean, genuinely, I felt like the move was okay. I mean, yeah, Snell could have just stayed in just to make it a thing, but I don't know. I felt confident when they pulled him to have Saki. That's kind of what we've been talking about.
I guess when you see a pitcher go out after the 7th inning, when he's going into the 8th, you kind of think, okay, is he going to come out in the 9th again? So my thoughts were going there. But then when I saw Roki warming up, we have complete confidence in Roki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hasn't. This is new ground for him. He's been a starter. He had his success in Japan, as we know. He had a real rough start to his major league career this year, and with the shoulder problem, that gave him an opportunity to go down to Oklahoma City and have an extended rehab. They went right to the very end of that. In the last 2 outings, he came out of the bullpen because they figured, okay, if we're going to use him, let's use him in short spurts, see what happens. And then, when he came and joined the team in Arizona on the last road trip and then pitched well there, pitched well in Seattle, they were starting to think, well, we got to find a way to use him in the back end. But he's earned that spot in a brief period of time. Again, this is still new to him. Mm-hmm. So, you're not going to throw him out there like it's, Kenley Jansen from 5 years ago, who'd been doing it for, a lot of most of his career.
And even that got rocky.
Sometimes it did. Yeah. Yeah. And Kenley was great though. He kept it interesting.
I know. Always. Kenley was amazing. I always talk about this. It's you always, it's just so easy to remember the bad. Mm-hmm. And then you but when he did get traded, when he went to the Angels and everyone's like, he's doing so good. And I'm just like, what the heck? Because a part of me was like, why did we get the weird ones? And then we hit a homer off of him in the end, the bottom of the 9th. And I was like, oh, okay. That looks a little more familiar.
Yeah. He had a long streak, a long scoreless streak going at that time too.
Yes.
So,
yeah. But we loved him. He was great.
I kind of hate how the Dodger fans hate on Kenley, but do you think Roki was just kind of overcome with a bit of nerves and just too much adrenaline?
No, I think I don't think if you can't get adrenaline in that environment, you ought to check your pulse. But I think that just watching his pitches, the splitter was okay, but he didn't have the complete command of it like he he does when he's on. Like his last outing, he had a great split.
Yeah.
His fastball wasn't touching the 100, 101. It was 98, 99. Not that is the tell all, but it was location.
He just didn't have it.
Yeah, you have to be able to locate the fastball. When you're going to rely on that as one of your better pitches, you have to locate it. You're not going to locate it every night. And that's the thing about him that he'll learn as he comes out of the bullpen more and more often, is that not every outing is going to be the exact same. It's just not. I think that when you look at, you go back to Kenley, you go back to other closers, go back to Eric Gagne. You go way back and you'll see the same thing. Do they have success more often than not? The good ones do, yeah. Is he going to be a closer for his career? No. I fully expect him to go back to being a starter and prepare for that come spring training.
Which is interesting because a lot of people said, I don't know, Rocky's a closer. I think everyone should just and so, you don't really know.
I think you can see a guy like Roki doing what Snell did tonight. I think he's a guy who can go, when he gets going, he'll be 6, 7, 8, maybe even 8 innings and then set the bullpen up. But I think he's going to go back to being a starter just because that's why he was brought here, to be a starter. But for right now, what the Dodgers are doing is they're finding the best arms possible that can help them win right now. That's why they added Ben Kasparius. Ben, he had options left. So that's why he went down to AAA, pitched very well there. So we'll see Kasparius during this series. Don't know when, but we will. You got Clayton Kershaw, a starter who's in the bullpen right now. Emmett Sheehan, who had a good year once he came back from Tommy John surgery. So they're trying to get the best possible arms in the organization out there to help out this bullpen. And we saw, especially in the second half of the season, that the bullpen was shaky. Alex Vesia is still very good. And I thought he might have had an opportunity to come in the game, but with a right-handed batter up, they were hoping it was one and done. But Blake walks him, and then you got Turang, the lefty, coming up, and with the 3-batter minimum rule, he's got to pitch to him. In the old days, you'd have just taken him right out and brought in Vesia. But you can't do that anymore. But fortunately, he got Turang to swing at a ball that was about a foot out of the strike zone with bases loaded, 2 outs. You want to talk about a pressure situation and a leverage situation, ball game in the balance right there. That's a big-time leverage situation.
In the NLCS.
Yeah, and Blake got a little help there from Turang, who just was so anxious he couldn't hold up his swing.
Thank God.
And by the way, before we move on from Blake, 8 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 10 Ks, 103 pitches, 22 whiffs, and he faced the minimum amount of Brewers, 24.
Yeah.
That's just dominance. There's just no other word for it.
Well, they had the pickoff caught stealing on the one guy, so that got it back to the minimum after he gave up the hit. Now, here's a number for you. How about this one? Out of the 103 pitches he threw, only 5 were out of the stretch.
Which is crazy. That's nuts. Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So he threw 98 pitches out of the windup, meaning nobody was on. So he had 5 out of the stretch in the entire game. And not only did he have the 10 strikeouts, which is a postseason career high for him, he had 11 ground ball outs. So that's odd. That's an anomaly. Only 3 pitchers did that, having 10 strikeouts and 10 ground ball outs in a game all year this year in Major League Baseball. So it's just a weird thing. You say, why is that a weird thing? Well, it's the way you pitch. If you're a strikeout pitcher like he is, typically your pitch count's going to be higher. But he was getting ground ball outs, which kept his pitch count lower.
I love that.
Yeah, his changeup was really, really good.
His changeup was unhittable today.
Yeah, it was unhittable.
Yeah,
I love his curveball too. That's really fun to watch.
When he got Frelick on the curveball, Frelick wasn't looking for it.
No.
And when a batter's not looking for the curveball and it just floats right down the middle and you're just standing there helpless, that's a really, from the pitcher standpoint, that's a great thing to see. But he was looking for the changeup, I think, and he didn't get it. And he didn't pick up where it came from, because the changeup, he throws it like this, and the curveball, he's up here. So, again, you have as a hitter in the big leagues, you have a split second to make this decision.
I know.
And if you make the wrong decision, you're going to stand there and make it out.
No.
And there was also a couple sequences where he didn't throw a single heater. And that was also just how the dude was just dialed in when he's using his he's using the changeup
Right.
and the curveball to change the eye levels, but no heaters being used is also just diabolical. There's just it's insane that he's just able to just use those two pitches and the dudes just couldn't touch it. And that was just that. And we talked about it with the gals in our preview. This lineup isn't a pedestrian lineup either. Like there's dudes in that lineup. And so for the fact that Blake was able to just top to start to end, just dominate it is insane.
They got a bunch of first rounders in that lineup. I mean, Pat Murphy yesterday for the media sessions doing the old Lou Holtz thing, and William and Mary's coming in to play Notre Dame, saying, "Oh, I don't know if we can beat this team. They're so good." It's like, come on. We know
they're really kind of amping up that average Joe's.
It's because they have power. They can paper cut you to death. They can do everything.
They have the best
good team.
Ball.
So what do you guys feel about like their pitching and why we got kind of shut down with our bats? I mean, we squeezed a few out, but if our bats are not going, I feel like it's like that's the missing component always.
Well, they wanted to go with the bullpen game because it gives you different looks. Mm-hmm. And when teams prepare, when they come up with the bullpen game idea, basically they're looking at outs, right? They're not looking at, how are we going to, are you going to go 2 innings, 3 innings, how many pitches? They're just looking at outs. You're going to cover the first 3. And that's why they had Ashby in there, to start. They wanted him to get the first 3 outs. They wanted him to face Ohtani. A lot of that is because of the big lefty, even though he's 1 for 19, 1 for his last 19. One swing of the bat changes everything with that guy. He's unreal. I mean, even the out he made tonight, that ground ball to first. Oh, that's the second one. He had 2 outs. The ground ball to first, that ball must have been hit 115 miles an hour. I didn't check StatCast, but I mean, it's just a rifle shot down there. I don't know how these guys put a glove on it. But you can't take him for granted. You can't say, well, he's in a slump, so we'll pitch to him, and then he hits the ball 500 feet. Yeah. So they have to be really careful with him. But they wanted to get past him in the first inning with nobody on, nobody out. And then going to Quinn Priester, who's had a pretty good year. And then Patrick was the guy that gave up the bomb to Freddie. And that pretty much turned things around.
Coming through in the postseason again.
Yeah, well, that's what he does. He's always done that. Even with the Braves, he was really good at that. I'm just glad he's on our team.
I know.
Okay, what did you guys think about that crazy play that everyone's talking about? We moved from the wheel play, which was talked all around baseball.
Yes, I actually wanted to ask you guys because when it happened, I want to hear Tim's like play-by-play perspective in a second, but because I know how intense you guys are about it all, I can only imagine how you were just more. I was confused first of all.
So we were confused. We were very confused.
I mean, I understand the game, but like what happened? Like what was that third out? There was like
we were very confused.
So I was like, did the catcher step on third to get Will? Like what how?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't Teo start running yet? And
that was the mystery to me. But
third, and why did they not run to third? It was I'm still confused, honestly.
So what that was I knew what happened right away, and I knew it was a double play because the ball hit the ball was squeezed out of the glove. And it hit the wall, hit the very top, the yellow line up there. Now, from where everybody else is, like from where Teo is, where Will Smith is, where the base runners are, where the umpires are, you got one chance to see that live and get it right. And the only guy who had it right was the left field umpire, Chad Fairchild. He was the only guy who put his arms out and said the ball's in play. When you see an umpire put their arms out, looks like a safe sign, that means the ball's in play. It wasn't caught. And it doesn't matter, like from the runner at third, from Teo's standpoint, it just has to make contact with the leather. That's it. It doesn't matter if the guy drops it, bobbles it. It's a rule designed so the guy doesn't intentionally bobble it. So if it hits the leather, go. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, he didn't go right away. And I think he was probably looking up to see if the guy caught it, and then he went. I've never seen a fielder's choice at the plate. What's that?
Is that a Dino Ebel thing?
No, I don't think so. I think it was hard for anybody to see.
Yeah, because even the dugout came out and said, "Yo, that's gone." Like no one really saw it.
Yeah,
I almost wish there were 2 outs.
Yeah.
they would have ran regardless, and then we would have scored. Like it could have been a bases clearing hit.
Like I'll be honest, I thought that that the center fielder purposefully ran it up against the wall because he couldn't get it, and was just trying to kind of do it that way. But even he was like, "What the hell just happened?" Like he had no idea.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. Yeah.
So the ball comes out. It hits the top of the yellow line. Even if it hits the top of the wall and comes back, like if it hits the spongy top of the wall and it comes back, that's still in play. It's got to be over the wall completely.
Yeah.
And in Milwaukee, the way that the ground rules are there, it's tough to tell sometimes. There's a couple of places in the ballpark, left field line especially, where there's about this much room between the wall and the back wall. And so it's got to go. Like I remember a game there years ago where the ball went over the left field wall, hit something behind it, and came back out. And they said it was in play, and then they had to go to replay and realize it was a home run. This was a different situation because behind that yellow line, there is a little space, but then there's the batter's eye. Mm-hmm. So if it hits, I've seen it happen a lot there where a ball will go over the center field wall, hit the batter's eye, and that's a home run. Then it'll bounce back in, but it's completely over the yellow line. This ball wasn't completely over the yellow line. And again, it was touched by the fielder's glove first, then it hits the wall, then it comes back and he catches it. And for the base runners, especially Will, he's hung up at second. He's looking for help, but he doesn't have it because it's hard to tell in real time that fast whether the guy tipped it up and caught it.
I know.
Or whether it was off the wall.
I saw Will being like, go back. Like I felt like he knew that it was still.
No, he was wrong. Okay. Because the ball was in play. It wasn't caught. He didn't have to go back.
Okay, so
he was telling Edmund to go back, and Tommy didn't have to go back.
Done?
What's that?
What should our guys have done?
Run.
Yeah, just run.
They should have run. It was a really difficult play.
Back.
They were too timid.
Yeah. If Will went to third, he would have made it. And
because when you're hearing from the dugout, it's a home run. Then these guys didn't see the whole sequence. That's why they just didn't run.
I thought it dropped, and I was jumping up and down. I was freaking out, jumping up and down. I'm like, we're gonna clear the bases. So excited, and then all of a sudden, it's like 2 outs. We're done. Inning over.
What? On a play like that, the second base umpire, and tonight's second base umpire was Adam Beck. The second base umpire has to go out, and he's the closest umpire to the situation. And I know from my standpoint, if I'm up in the booth, I'm looking down, and I'm looking at the second base umpire for either this or it's in play, or it's caught for the out. I'm looking for that sign, one of three signs from the second base umpire who didn't make a sign, because I don't think he saw it either.
No, I don't think because even the home plate umpire didn't call anything when Teo crossed. And so I don't think anyone really saw anything. So that's why they couldn't call anything. Yeah. And again, even if the only guy that had the best view of it was Fairchild, and even then, I don't think the umpires knew what he was really like. They signaled fair ball, but that was it. That's all anyone really knew.
Where he was up the left field line, looking from that angle to the center field wall, he would have seen it. And he was the only guy who made a sign.
Thank God we won, or we'd be scrutinizing this play even more.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. And because you get your bases loaded, 2 out. Will didn't see it. Tommy might have seen it, but Will told him to get back. And then if he didn't get back, you would have had two runners occupying a base at the same time. And the way you're taught to defend that is tag them both, and one of them's going to be out. But even if they're both standing on the base, one of them's going to be out. But I thought Contreras did the right thing after he realized it was a forced play out by running, because there was nothing else he could do after that. Teo had already touched the plate after the play. He was called out. Okay. Then he runs up and touches third to get the other force out.
Oh my gosh.
So Will hadn't touched third
slow-mo. It was like a slow, what is happening?
I know. It really was. There wasn't actually when I thought Will was stealing, and he was, but then Tommy ended up getting walked. But then I see Will just walking to second. And I'm like, What? Where's your hustle? Let's go.
Yeah, don't pull a hamstring. Yeah.
Letting yourself get out.
I know. I looked at her. I was like, okay, we need to calm down because we didn't even see that Edmund was on ball 4, and we're over here like, is Will walking? Like, what is he doing? Like, we were like
getting real mad at Will.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, that happens a lot. We see that every now and then. But
so you don't want to pull that hammy if you're just joining us.
If you're watching the pitch, like when you're running, you take a quick look in, and if you see it's ball 4, you just pull up.
Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. Is like we need to calm down and start watching the game because these are like we would normally catch on to that, but right now we're like, run, everyone, run. I know.
The most
just joining us
at all times.
We are doing the post game for NLCS Game 1. We're joined by Tim Neverett, one of the voices of the Dodgers. If you're also joining us, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter, I believe. I need new glasses so bad. I can only see so many things.
Maybe you can ask Kike or Muncie for their eye doctor.
Maybe that or LASIK.
That's Dr. Lou.
Dr. Lou.
Okay.
If you're joining us, though, please comment, chime in. Tell us kind of what you thought about that crazy sequence that happened in the 4th inning where even the image of just the center fielder, I can't say his name right now. He's just standing there like confused, like what just happened? That was literally how I sat on the couch for a minute. Even when they showed the replay, I was like, what am I missing? I am totally missing something here. But then for me, the big thing was the dugout saying it's a home run. Everyone thought it was a home run, and it wasn't.
One other thing on that play, on the official scoring of that play, Max gets, I hate to use the word credited, but it's marked down for Max as it grounded into a double play. That's it's technically the correct way to do it.
So is it a hit?
It's not a hit.
No.
It's a fielder's choice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the ball was in play, but it's a 404-foot grounded into double play. The catcher. Now this is the thing. You never see this. The catcher gets 2 putouts on that.
Oh yeah, because the force out at third.
He had the force out at third at the plate and the force out at third. You will never see that again. I guarantee it.
No.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, it's a play by William Contreras. Like even though he's slow, like he walked over there, but no one stopped him. So it's one of those where
this is like beautiful baseball, but we still won.
And that's showing me that Muncie, he's gonna hit it out of the park tomorrow.
Well, by that much, it wasn't.
He was that close. Before Freddie hit his homer, he hit one that was just shy of a homer. So our guys are getting there. They're heating up.
And Freddie's home run, he had a ton of topspin on it because you see where it landed, right over the wall on that little roof that's out there. Now, when you generate backspin on a ball, it carries. Mm-hmm. And I've seen him hit some massive ones when he's generating backspin, but topspin, I mean, the ball goes like this.
Yeah, that ball just like shot straight out.
He didn't have a lot of this.
And we're like, where's it going? Is it going out?
Swing
to something that Melissa said a second ago, because I was thinking about this too. Do you really think, Tim, that this bullpen was kind of able to kind of pin the offense down in a way where the bullpen, since it was a bullpen game, the amount of looks that the Brewers threw at them were kind of just essentially already getting in their head a little bit in that regard as to why they were getting jammed up, or is it or am I looking too much into it?
I think the bullpen games, especially when you look at Milwaukee's got a really good bullpen.
Yeah, they do.
And we saw it up close and personal during the regular season when the Dodgers lost six out of 6. In fact, they lost 8 out of 8 going back to last season before winning this one tonight. But they've got such a good bullpen that it's a little bit different than if, say like the Rockies roll out a bullpen game, you know what I mean? Or the White Sox or something. It's just very different because of the talent level of the arms and the different things that they bring to the table. Now, Uribe, when he came out, he struggled with his command, and that's why the Dodgers ended up picking up that second run, which was huge. And
by who? Alonso? Who did we say was going to heat up this series? Your guy
Mookie.
Oh yeah, Mookie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Mookie's. This is his time of year. I go back a long way with him. We were in Boston together. So I've seen him play an awful lot of baseball in his career. And usually in October, he heats up. And he starts heating up usually the end of June. And when you look at his numbers, month by month, April, he's all right. He starts so every year. May, he's okay. June, he's all right. And then end of June, beginning of July, he just starts taking off. Usually that's been what's been on the back of his baseball card.
Besides last season, before that, the postseasons prior, he wasn't heating up so much, but the struggles he's had this season, it's just really amazing to see how consistent he's been. And we're really waiting for him to pop off. And
I think with him
tonight, guys, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Both sides defense was great.
The other thing with Mookie is that doing what he's done, converting himself not just to a shortstop, but being an elite shortstop. And when you look at his numbers, he's probably the best defensive shortstop in baseball,
which is crazy,
which is nuts.
Yeah.
Considering, he's been
Mookie Betts. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he's, he plays right field and wins Gold Gloves out there, but with what he's done with the glove this year, and I see him I see him put in all the work in the afternoons, and I think that he got sick at the beginning of the year, had trouble putting the weight back on. He said that he was crushing Uncrustables just to try to get weight on. But he it took him a while because he'd be out there in the afternoon working hard, sweating, doing all those things, and taking hundreds of ground balls and just working on bag play around second, different things. So I'm excited for him because he's been told certain things in his life that he couldn't do. And everything that he has been told he couldn't do, he goes out and does. You're not a good bowler. Well, he's a professional level bowler now. What are you doing playing pickleball? Well, now he's like an elite pickleball player. Yeah. Sometimes he'll play with JD Martinez. I know he played with him as his partner recently.
And apparently he can hoop at a crazy level too.
He is a nut.
Apparently JD also really helps him with hitting.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, Mookie can play basketball. He would have been a great football player, wide receiver. He would have been unbelievable. Yeah, I've seen him run pass patterns in an indoor facility and just shake defensive backs like they're not even there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just walk up to the guy, you never know that he's that elite of an athlete. And oh, by the way, he's just made his sitcom debut.
I know.
And wasn't bad in that either. So
he also has a podcast. We love listening to him. It's cool to see the player on player interview.
And like a long form, we have our podcast is long form where we sit down and we have conversations. It's not an interview always, and so we really appreciate how he kind of does it. It feels in line.
Yeah, and it's cool Tim, we listen to you all the time. I'm like seeing your face, connecting your voice to it because we're used to hearing your voice. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Used to, my first several years with the team, I was on television too. I would go back and forth quite a bit between both. And then the last couple of years, it's just spring training TV and regular season radio.
Yeah. So. What do we feel about Ohtani?
He's still a game changer.
I mean, they walked him intentionally. You don't walk a guy.
Twice.
Walk a guy.
Yeah. They walk. Yeah. I mean,
but he isn't performing.
Keep walking him in front of Mookie. You're going to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because you have to pick your poison in that moment,
keep
right?
pissing Mookie off. I know.
Yeah.
I got a number. In fact, I wonder if I can find it. Bob Nightingale of USA Today had a stat the other day, and I saved it. I just forget where I put it. But it was about when Mookie Betts comes to the plate after the guy in front of him walks. And it goes back to his time in Boston with David Ortiz. And it's just, it is a pick your poison moment. I mean, it's lopsided in Mookie's favor big time. And he takes it personally and he knows it's part of the game. But I think with Ohtani, though, he's going to do something here pretty soon. It's just a matter of time. We've seen him last couple of years. He'll go through droughts. And then somebody's going to pay the price pretty soon.
I can't wait. I truly can't wait.
And I get a feeling somebody in Milwaukee is going to have to pay that toll pretty soon.
And I will say in that entire sequence of when the run got walked in, the dude that really got the thing going, out of all the guys that I didn't expect to, because he's been struggling for the last little bit, was Baez. When he got that bunt down, and if you rewatch the game, Muncy stops and goes back in the dugout to hey, dude, keep doing the thing. Yeah.
The thing with the bunt though, like Andy's not been. I don't remember a time when Andy's been asked to bunt this year.
No, I don't either.
And he laid it down very nicely.
He squares like you're supposed to. You know, everybody knows you're going to bunt. You want to get the best possible thing. You're supposed to kind of look over the barrel, so you get a real good view of it. And it came inside on him, and he just kind of got lucky and moved it. I don't know if you noticed, but he moved the bat head down just a little bit, hit it just right.
Yep. Yeah, but low key, all of his hits have been like really bad bunts. They've just been trickling too far without even trying to. So they're like, maybe just square up and try to actually just bunt.
And it worked.
Pajes, I have loved him all season. They wanted him on people wanted to send him back to the minors, and the way he responded to that as an athlete just pumped me up because he could have completely crumbled and he didn't. He just started to thrive, and like I just really want him to have those moments, but it's really cool to see everyone just rallying around him. And no matter what he does, everyone is just because they want him to have it too. They're like, where is our guy? Every little moment they can to pump him up and to like remind him of who he is. That's why I love our team.
I know. I love the guys just cheering each other on. And we said this in the last live we did with Alonso, and Alonso knows that we do player of the week on our podcast every week. Pajes has been Jacqueline's player of the week
very consistently,
almost every week.
Not every week.
Okay, well, we were really rooting for him for a while, but the fact that when he, the play that went wrong for the Phillies, obviously Andy's hit, all the guys were telling him when he was struggling, you're going to have a moment. You're going to have a moment. And he had that moment.
That was a moment.
A lot of confidence.
That was a big moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with him too, he's still a young player. We got to remember how young he is.
Yeah.
How young is he? How old is he?
24?
Is he 24?
Yeah, he's 24.
So you got to remember how young he is.
23 or 24?
He's a kid.
When did this happen? They used to be older and then they were my age and now they're younger and I'm not sure.
Well, some of these guys start like, he came from Cuba, right? So he's going to start at a younger age in pro ball. Same thing with any of the players, from Latin America that aren't draft eligible. These guys they'll get signed at age 16 and they go to the academies and then they hit their way out. So Andy was able to, do a pretty good job in the minor leagues. And I remember a couple of years ago, he got called up from AA to AAA. And I want to say it was his first or second game in AAA. He had a swing and he tore his shoulder up, tore the rotator cuff, I believe it was. And he was out. So his attitude was, all right, I'm done for now. I got tons of time. I'm going to rehab. I'm going to come back, get ready. So that next spring, he comes back 2 springs ago, has a really good spring training. Has really good spring training, but gets sent back to minor league camp. But he came up, made his major league debut, and did all that. Then this year, he earns himself a starting spot, and he's been there ever since. And I can't see him ever going back.
No.
He's a full-time big leaguer now, and he still has some things to clean up every once in a while with the base running. And he's done a decent job defensively, I think, on that first step. There was I don't know if you noticed or not early in the season, but he was a little late getting the ball sometimes. But then he's good around the wall. I think he's got 4 home run robberies this year, which is a big number to have. And he can play anywhere in the outfield. He can play right, center, left, wherever you want to put him. So he's good. And one thing about his game too, and the way that the Dodger lineup is now that everybody's healthy, is you look at him batting 9th. I mean, how long do you have to have the lineup? He's batting behind Kike. Muncy's hitting 7th. There's a guy who was like regularly cleanup or 5th. So you've got these guys down at the bottom of the order. So there's no gimmies in the order anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's what you hope at this point in the year, especially. You need all 9 guys to come through.
And our guys from top to bottom give really good at-bats. And we saw, 5 of the Brewers pitchers today? And I'm taking that as a win. Just seeing 5. I think it was 5 different pitchers.
It was how many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Yep.
Yeah, 6 different ones. But still, you get into the bullpen in a bullpen game. I find it hard. I would find it hard to start a 7-game series that way. But I understand what they went through. Going to Game 5 against the Cubs, and some of the regular arms needed a day or so. Mm-hmm. But even with that, even throwing 6 pitchers out there and throwing a bullpen game, it still came down to the very last.
Who would have thought Treinen would be coming in for Roki? One of the comments here says, "Glad this game is over. My heart couldn't take it." Yeah, never. What? I would never have thought Treinen would be coming in for Roki.
I wanted to ask you something about that, Tim, because you have a different insight and perspective than we do. Why Treinen in that moment?
I think because even though he has struggled, he's been there before. They needed a right-handed pitcher at that time, right. And looking at the bullpen at that moment in time, Kasperius, good right arm. He hasn't been in those high-end playoff pressure cookers yet. He was in the World Series last year. I get that. Emmett Sheehan, there's your other right-handed arm at that point in time. So you're going to go with Treinen there and hope that he's going to be able to get this guy out. I thought he was going to get him out with a sinker, but he didn't have quite the command he had hoped on the sinker. The sweeper sometimes with him is, this year anyway, it's been kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it's really a big looping sweeper. Sometimes it's just a little bit. So the first pitch that he threw was a sweeper, but it was more like what we call a cement mixer because it just kind of spun, more than it darted down in a way. But then he regripped it and got another one off, which was better. Then he has to face the lefty, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. This could be a little trouble because Turang had a big hit for them in the division series.
Yeah, he crushed that ball.
Yeah, so you're like, oh boy, he's feeling hot, he's feeling good. You get a foul ball, you're like, okay. Then you get a strike, you're okay. And now he almost hits him with the pitch. He throws that sweeper down and in. He hits him. It's a tie game.
Yeah,
I mean, he missed him by that much. That's how close we were to seeing a tie game. And if I'm Turang, I wouldn't be in big a hurry to get out of the way. But he didn't want to get hit. And in the moment, it's hard to judge, okay, should I stay here and get hit or should I get out of the way?
It seemed like that was reactionary for sure. Like
it was for sure. And luckily for the Dodgers. And then he throws that rising fastball. Because when he throws his four-seamer, it's typically he has a better outing. That I've noticed. He doesn't throw it very often, but he threw it that time and it was up and out of the zone and boom, game over.
But something you said, Tim, and something I hear from Dave, he says Blake has the experience, and I get that. And yes, he does. And he was phenomenal for us, and he has been, but not this year. He hasn't been that this year. So you still go off experience?
He's got to trust him in that situation. And from the manager's standpoint,
give him the confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I hope so. It should. But the managers told him, look, I trust you. And that's what
I love that.
That's what a player wants to hear. That's what a pitcher needs to hear. Because
every Dodger fan, it's like we see Treinen warming up and we're like, oh, great.
Well, he was warming up the other day.
We're as positive as you can get. I mean, you're close. You have the inside scoop. Do you think, I don't know, sometimes I think, is there an injury there that he's afraid to fully throw his pitches?
Well, I don't think at this point in the year. I actually think at this point in the season, everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah, everyone's banged up.
It's a hard grind. It's really.
Even us fans, crazy. My back hurts.
I'm emotionally exhausted.
I know, I'm tense. My shoulders, rub down.
I know, seriously.
Because I have, and I've said it to them, and I've said it to just other folks too in passing, that a lot of what I think Dave has done with the bullpen up to this point is to tell them, listen, I trust you guys. Mm-hmm. Now it's on you to go out and kind of do your part. And obviously it hasn't panned out in some cases, but I kind of, that's kind of what I expected the answer to, to kind of look like, because I think that was their way of saying, hey, you're the most experienced guy for this situation, but also we trust you, go out and get the out.
Yeah. And from a manager standpoint also, and from the pitchers out in the bullpen standpoint, the way that they have to look at things and the way manager looks at them is like, look, these guys are major league pitchers.
Yeah.
These guys are the ones we've been riding with all year. We won the division. We're here in the National League Championship Series. We just won the division series. We won the wild card series. These are the guys that we're going to be ride or die with. And we've got to use the guys we've got. In the entire organization, the Dodgers are using the best arms that they have available in the bullpen right now. And Blake happens to be one of them. And granted, he's had his shortcomings this year, his tough outings, But when it comes down to it, he's been a big part of this team. Look what he did last year.
Yeah.
Right. And again, last year's not this year. This year is this year. But he's going to have to be that guy. And he got the strikeout to end the game. He gets a save. Roki gets a hold for tonight. If you're interested in the hold stat, but he gets a hold. And of course, Blake.
What's a hold stat?
A hold stat is if you hold the lead. So, so in his situation, he held the lead. Granted, he gave up a run, but the Dodgers were still up 2-1 when he left the ball game, and it stayed that way. So he gets a hold.
At this point, they're all probably really trying to get the holds. They're like trying to rack up that stat.
Yeah, it's not a stat. Like, I don't pay a lot of attention to that stat because that's sort of the textbook definition of their job is to go out there and hold the score where it is. If you're ahead, if you're behind, it's a different story. If you're getting blown out, you got to go out there and wear it for a few innings and save the rest of the bullpen. There's all kinds of different scenarios when you're a bullpen pitcher, but you come in a 2-0 game, your job is to hold the lead. Even if it is 2-1, you got one run to play with. You don't want to play with it, but had to tonight the way it worked out. So he gets credit for a hold.
I mean, it's cool that, the Brewers won their last game on solo home runs. And we were talking about this with Alonso, the only game they've won on solo home runs. We just won on a solo home run and a walk.
Yeah.
Well, and the crazy thing about that is, shout out to our friend Sarah Langs. If you don't follow her on Twitter, follow her. She's a great follow. Freddie Freeman now has 10 go-ahead home runs in his postseason career. That's tied with Jose Altuve for the most in postseason history.
All right.
Way to ruin that stat.
First of all,
trash, Joe.
Hey, listen, that's neither here nor there because now Freddie's tied it. So he hits one more and he takes the lead.
Yeah, I saw 3 of Altuve's in one game once.
And he knew that they were all coming.
Game.
He was hitting a home run every postseason game last year. How amazing was that?
That's when he knew what was coming, though. That was in 2007.
Yeah, that's to say he knew every single time he knew what was coming. And Freddie didn't have to cheat to get those 10 postseason.
No, but Freddie's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
When you look at his numbers, it's it's crazy. Like the doubles. I concentrate on the doubles with him. I think he's past Manny Ramirez now, and I think he's up with Derek Jeter territory or Alex Rodriguez territory somewhere. But he's going to finish with an incredible number of doubles. He's trying to get to 3,000 hits. I don't know if he's going to get there, but
right now.
I'd have to look exactly and see what it is. But he's the active leader, major league leader in hits, currently. But his numbers are off the charts good, and defensively at first base, I wouldn't want anybody else. You saw that short hop that he played tonight. A lot of first basemen don't make that play.
I know.
And he works on that every day. I mean, I see him with Dino every day on the field working on that stuff. And there's a reason why a Hall of Famer does that every day. You'd figure, I know how to do it. I can do it. No, he never mails it in, ever.
Never.
He's got 2,431 hits.
Yeah.
At the moment. And
he's 6.
So you'd have to play. You'd have to have three more really, really good seasons.
Well, and the thing I've always liked about Freddie is how consistent he is. Mm-hmm. And as it sits right now, he's at just a straight 300 average for his career. Just
sounds like Freddie.
I know.
Yes.
I would like a little bit more though.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. We haven't seen him strike out this much, but he's starting to really see the ball and feel good. So I'm happy to see that.
I know.
Was there for you, Tim, when you were watching Blake? Was there? I had a feeling that they were going to pull him there regardless because it could be a long series, and so they obviously want to save some bullets.
Yeah.
But do you think at any point they really thought in the dugout like, yeah, let's let him just get it?
Hard to say. I don't think that's been the Dodgers' philosophy. Complete games, we haven't had one all year, and I don't think that's on the table with them. Although, with the eyeball test, if there was going to be one this year, it would have been tonight. This would have been the time to give somebody an opportunity. However, they're also thinking we need this guy for Game 6. That's why he started tonight.
Yeah,
and that's why Yamamoto's starting Game
tomorrow.
2.
Yeah,
because they want them for 6 and 7 should they need him, and it's going to be or 5 and 6, I should say, in case they need him. And Ohtani's. It's either going to be Glasnow or Ohtani for Game 3. They may or may not flip-flop him. I don't know.
Ooh, Well, also just, Yamamoto did not have the best outing last time. And yeah, he wasn't as dominant, but also the Phillies were down and they had to come out swinging.
Yeah.
But we learned Yamamoto dyed his hair. So maybe he has a whole new vibe now.
Wait, he really dyed his hair?
That away. Coming in brand new.
Yeah, he's had the
guy lights.
Yeah, the blonde
out. Mickey put the blonde back in.
We call them what? The frosted tips? Is that what we call them?
Now
he frosted tips. I prefer guy lights.
Yeah, guy lights. There's a good one.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got a little dark hair now. So.
Yoga in the outfield.
He was doing
headstands.
Handstands.
He does a lot of things.
Yeah, my favorite thing he does is when he
throws darts.
When he throws the darts.
These javelins that are weighted.
Have you seen that, Tim?
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah.
It even when he does the thing where he's throwing the hard ball from his knees and just how hard he throws it, you're just like, bro, you're 5'9". How are you doing this?
Whatever he's doing, like if I'm managing the ball club or I'm baseball operations, it's kind of like, look, we know what to do to get ready.
Yeah.
And he stayed healthy this whole year. So whatever you're doing, you do you.
Yeah. We say it all the time.
Yeah. You're a professional.
Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I know.
Yeah. And he's got his people, he's got his own little staff of people that help him out doing things. But it's basically whatever he needs to do to get ready for a game, and nobody questions it because it works.
Okay, wait, back to Glass now. Do we want Ohtani or do we want Tyler?
I think it depends on a couple things, but
would one start for the other?
No.
I think if this lineup, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tim.
If you mean piggyback, or you mean, we don't know who's going to be in Game 3 yet, and Dave's not going to announce that. He's going to play that close to the vest.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Ohtani.
It may be, at home, and it comes with a day off in front of it.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's going to be Ohtani, because the extra day.
Right.
And Dave was asked about that too, and he said, "No, that doesn't mean anything," which might mean something. You never.
Yeah.
Because these guys have a tendency to say things at times that they want to use to throw the other side off. So they're very subtle about it.
If this lineup stays the same as it did today for the Brewers, I think I would assume essentially that they're going to kind of roll this lineup out. They may throw in Jake Bauers and more, but I don't think that would differ into Dave's decision making. But I still think it's going to be Ohtani.
Well, I think we're going to see a different lineup tomorrow against the right-hander.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll line it up differently, and I think they're going to base the decision. Well, I mean, they're both righties, Ohtani and Glasnow, but I think they're going to base the decision on matchups and what they think is going to be the best way to get him a win in Game 3. Ohtani's probably going to be the guy, my guess, but it wouldn't shock me if they went the other way around. Nothing would shock me. The buttons that they've pressed over the last several years, most of the time they worked. So we've got 2 world championships in a 4-year period, and working on another one this year. So you got to trust what they do, because when you look around other ball clubs, I mean, there are some that have never gone this far as consistently as the Dodgers. Dodgers have been in playoffs 13 straight years, right? They're almost they do this another year, they're going to tie the Braves for the most consecutive years in a row making the playoffs. I mean,
amazing.
Dodger fans are lucky. They really are.
Everyone hates on Dave. It's like he's taking them to the postseason.
I know.
Manager.
I know.
He and I've had that conversation in the past. He knows it comes with the territory.
I know. When we met him, he was like, we told him that we have a Dodgers podcast, and he was like, "Oh no, do you guys hate me?" And we're like, "No, we honestly actually just trust you. We there's frustrating times, but it's not. We have to lean into trust.
We really do trust. And as soon as we said that word, his face lit up. And
he's like, trust.
Thank you.
Trust.
Thank you. Like, put his arms around us. It was so nice. We did a live earlier, and a lot of our listeners were saying, would we prefer Kershaw to start a game rather than come out of the bullpen? And I'm wondering what you guys think about that.
I think they've got in the postseason, you have to go with your best horses currently. And although he had a great season, there were times where it wasn't the way that he wanted it to go. I think also when you have a pitcher, regardless of what the name on the back of his jersey is, who struggles in the first inning, his ERA in the first inning was not where he wants it to be. His fastball is 89 miles an hour. And he'd given up some home runs on that early in games. But his curveball and his slider are still magnificent. They still are elite. So I don't know if he'll start a game. If the Dodgers feel they can do better with a left-handed starter, if that's their feeling, then he might. But right now, I think they've got their 4 that they need to eat up all the innings. And I think that's the main thing is they feel that Snell, who proved it tonight, Yamamoto, who's been proving it all year, Glasnow, who his last start was really, really good, and Ohtani, now they've got the handcuffs off of him. He can go 6 or 7.
Oh my God.
So those are your guys who are going to eat up innings and get a lot of outs and be as stingy as possible giving up hits. And I think that's the way they want to go.
How is his fastball only 89? And when he warms up, he like throws it across the whole field.
Well, yeah, that's called long toss, and a lot of pitchers do that. You should see Yamamoto's long toss.
His long toss is insane.
It's crazy how he does it, and he hits the guy right in the chest every time.
Yeah.
But
is this like early access to the game type stuff? That
Like usually do like early BP stuff.
Yeah, gates will be open when they go out. When the pitchers go out to warm up, the starting pitchers, they'll start doing things like that. They start.
Yeah.
They do their stretching and then
I
other things.
Bad though when you're there that early because you go down all the way to just like I feel like I'm just sitting there like staring at them and like no one else is in the stands, so we always just walk around. But you're right, it does kind of happen at an earlier where we could be there. I want to see this.
Do you think was there anything that this Brewers lineup today showed you, Tim, that you were kind of like, okay, I didn't expect that?
I didn't expect him to not hit. I expected them to get a few base runners, even if they had to play small ball, which they didn't get an opportunity to do tonight. I think that was one thing. I was expecting some more out of a couple of guys that when we were there this summer, they had just acquired Vaughn, right? Andrew Vaughn just got him from the White Sox, and it was his first game with the Brewers, and he just killed us. And that whole series, he just killed us. And so I expected him to do something a little bit more than he did. But they've got a really good team. It's, people might say, well, they're a bunch of no names, but they're really not in baseball. Everybody knows who these guys are. Yeah. And I was surprised. I was surprised they just didn't have more base runners.
Yeah. And Andrew Vaughn is the scariest to me, I guess, just because of how he's performed against us. But yeah, I was surprised too. I was surprised they didn't do more.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And tomorrow, I think the lineup will be a little different. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
But I'm not that surprised that our starting pitching has just been shutting people down in so many ways. And it's kept it. I always used to say, like, growing up here in LA, people thought I was insane that I would avoid Kershaw games, but it's because like it's a slower game. It's a lot of grounders and pop-ups. And like when I was going to go to one, it's like I didn't want to just sit through all that. But this is like all of the postseason. It's just like the starting pitching is just really on fire. It's shutting everyone down.
Yeah. And I think the move to go to Blake today was great. I really like that move. And Yamamoto, if he is on tomorrow, I have no reason to think he wouldn't be. He'll be fun to watch. He'll be really fun to watch tomorrow.
He's feeling good. He switched it up.
Well, and he didn't quite do what I think he wanted to do with the outing the last time. And so
that's probably why he changed his hair.
I truly think it is. But yes, he wasn't as dominant, but the Phillies were going to come out swinging. It was do or die for them.
Yeah. Well, they had to hit, and the top 3 guys in their lineup weren't hitting. When you look at Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, they didn't hit till game 3.
And Schwarber, before he hit that bomb, he was 0 for 20.
Dodger Stadium with that home run.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive home run.
It was 400, like where it landed.
Was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Actually.
If I was a pitcher, I'd have been proud to serve that one up. That was a pretty good one.
Really?
Look, I mean, because it's one of those, like, there's nothing you can do in that moment, but where it landed, you're just like, okay, there's nothing I could do. There's absolutely nothing you could do.
I actually really I respected his post-game comments about Kershaw. So Schwarber, all right.
They have a good group of veterans over there that get it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the Phillies were a very comparable team to the Dodgers.
Very much so. I thought that they had as good a chance to win a World Series as anybody, because the way that the expanded playoff is now compared to what it used to be is if you are hot and you have a way, if your starting pitching's good and you can get a few hits, you're going to win.
Yeah. I really feel like it's just like also it's like last postseason where it's like, wait, are we doing this? Did we just beat them? Was it like that was what I mean, not in a cocky way, but in a okay, like the things that I thought were our big Goliaths in front of us, which I really felt like was the Phillies. And then we went in and we started off with those two dominant games. I don't know.
This is the one. This is the big one, though. Right here.
Yeah. But also, I love learning from other people what they think about the 5 days off and how that plays a factor, because baseball is a game of momentum.
Yeah.
So think about that. How that affects the Phillies.
I'm not crazy about that.
I know the players aren't.
They even had 30,000 fans at their stadium to do one of those a simulated game where they play against each other.
You have to do that. I know last year we brought in some minor league players, and you divvy up teams and you just play as hard as you can. But no matter what, you can't replicate what you're going to be in, the environment you're going to be in, different things that happen. You can't hear sometimes.
We didn't see Bueller that whole series.
What's that?
I was just thinking we didn't see Bueller.
No.
Yeah.
Loser. Just kidding. She's
calling everyone a loser these days.
Everyone's a loser if they're not a Dodger. Yeah.
He's all right. I like him. He's a good guy.
I like him too.
I think the Phillies are actually a good fit for him.
But it's the postseason. Okay. It's okay for me not to like everyone right now.
It's okay.
After October.
It's really bad for Orion, and she's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
I felt bad for that kid too.
I know.
I also called him Orion on our podcast for an entire hour, and so I'm very aware that his name is Orion.
Orion Kirkring, yeah.
Yes. Before we wrap this guy up, Tim, for tomorrow, what is your I'll do kind of the exercise that I did with the ladies, and it'll be the same question for you guys too. The Dodgers win tomorrow if ...
Well, how many things do I have? 1 or 2 or 3 or
as many as you want, Tim.
All right. Well, first of all, they win tomorrow if Freddie Freeman keeps hitting. The other thing is Yamamoto's got to go 7. I think he's got to go 7. He's got to close that gap between the starter and the closer. So I'm thinking that if he can go 7 tomorrow, that's a big ask in the postseason.
Yeah.
But if he has one of his days, which he's due to have, he goes 7. I think they win. And the fact that they took game 1 on the road, just like they did in Philadelphia, when you're the road team, I mean, you swing it now they have home field advantage. So they've got 1 more game in Milwaukee and then 3 at Dodger Stadium. So they swing home field advantage in their direction. So that's a big, big deal, I think.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Ladies, the Dodgers win if
our guys give Yamamoto run support.
Yeah. I'm fully on if our bats are swinging, we can afford our errors, whether it's coming from the bullpen, it's coming from an error on the field. If our bats are swinging and we're getting the runs on the board, I just think our guys relax and they start playing better. But they're impressing me so much by not really getting that many hits, and they're still just staying so locked in, which really just gives me so much hope. I mean, in the end, I want them to win the World Series. And there's been plenty of times I've said it where you have to admit when it's not our year and you're just kind of like, man, the other team's just outplaying us and there's nothing we can do about it. I don't feel that way this year.
Yeah. And during the regular season, a lot of fans talk themselves into false narratives, right? Because you lose a tough game or reliever blows a lead or something like that, and you're facing a good team. You're like, it's over. It's all over. You know, I mean, I've even heard that as early as April from some fans. Oh, we'll get him next year. I'm like,
I know.
Guys, you have no idea how good you have it here in LA, okay?
Yeah.
Our podcast is from the fan perspective, and we really talk our fans down.
Yeah.
Because, and now especially we can see it, but the whole season we listen to the guys post game and it's there one day at a time, one game at a time, one pitch at a time. We're trusting the process. We're trusting each other. It's all coming together. We're seeing it happen, and there's no reason for us to not trust them.
I know.
Well, that's how they're wired. That's how these guys are wired as professionals. From the time they start playing as a professional, you're taught in the minor leagues. It's one pitch at a time, one day at a time. And it sounds cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take your last at bat in the field with you. It's over.
Yeah.
That's why when they had that weird double play tonight, as soon as that was over, those guys flushed it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
They have to think like that. They have to continue to tell themselves that. And honestly, that's why I love baseball too, because I really align with that. I take that into my own life.
I know, but even with October, like I kept telling people, I can't tell you who's going to have the edge until we start playing the games, because it's a completely different ballgame when it's October. And you know, even they asked me yesterday, like, okay, Seattle or Blue Jays. And I was like, I got to see a game first. Like, I have no idea who's going to and I still don't really know because Seattle pulled it off, but like, it's very neck and neck. I mean, it's just good baseball.
Long series too. So
yes. And that's the one
thing. It may not be though. But, but these 7-game series can be long, but Seattle shortened it quite a bit already.
Alonso, what about you? The Dodgers win if?
I think, well, Yamamoto needs to go 7. I agree with that because Tim knows my philosophy. You need 3 horses in order to win a playoff series at minimum. If you don't have 3 horses, you're not winning a playoff series. But for the first time in a long time, the starting pitching isn't a concern, if you will, for the Dodgers because they have at least 4 horses, right? But if I do think the other reason they win is I think the bullpen is absolutely going to take this as a step in the right direction mentally. And kind of try to push those as Tim, to use something Tim just said, those false narratives, if you will, kind of out, because it's like, oh, okay, we can do this, we got this, right? And so and obviously we've seen who Dave trusts: Vesia, Trinan, Roki, Emmett. There's dudes there, and then you bring in a Kasperius for other leverage situations. So I think the bullpen is going to have to kind of do what they did today and be huge, have the hold, and not give up the hold. And I think Ohtani, just like I said yesterday in our live when we talked, they got to get Ohtani going, and I think they started getting him going to a certain degree because he got on today, right? So it's the little things that kind of get him going.
Walk him. There's also another level of the Dodgers win if Alex Vesia's wife Kayla does not go into birth, and
is that what they're saying?
She's due any day.
But is that I mean, we can't base it on that.
No, I know, but we're getting a lot of comments on like, okay, Kayla, hold off, let us get through the series.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no rush there. You're gonna spend your whole life with the kid. Don't worry about it.
Wait for an off day.
Yeah, like trust me, you won't remember.
Yeah.
You won't remember.
But I also think if they hold, the big thing is I think if they hold the Brewers offense to what they did today, they're giving themselves a win. Because I do think these games, like I said when we talked yesterday, I think all these games are going to be close. I think they're going to be really gritty games because the Brewers, like I think it was Dave that said it. It's like, yeah, the whole average Joe thing isn't going to work because
nobody's buying it.
No, they're dudes.
From the best team in baseball? No.
I mean, when
you're just underdog, upward, like what?
They're trying to spin it, and no.
Small market, big market, David Goliath, all those things, they don't work.
And I get it, but when your first guy up is Jackson Churio, and then you go from him to Yelich, and then you go from him to Contreras, calm down. Like you're there.
You get 9 guys against 9 guys on a field.
And doesn't it like
who cares
really
where they play, right?
Narrative of money is the one who buys winning teams, because you have 2 different types of teams that are here battling.
I think owners, and Tim can probably dive a little more into this. I think the owners that don't want to spend will try to kind of use that as the justification for not spending. But really what it comes down to is what you have kind of behind the scenes: the development, the player dev, the analytics, those are the things that matter. Whether you spend a bunch of money or not, if you have quality people and in the quality aspects like that, that's where it really pays dividends.
Yeah, player development is huge. It's a huge thing in any organization. Also, different philosophies on what they look for in relief pitching. Bullpens, a good general manager is going to be able to build a bullpen, and that's going to help carry you through a lot of the regular season. The Dodgers front office has had a lot of experience in the postseason now, and they've learned how to win in October. And their whole philosophy is based on that. It's like it funnels down to that. And that's why, Blake Snell was out for an extended period of time in rehab. That's why we had, guys that weren't available to us, Glasnow even. That's why Ohtani was such a slow play before he began to pitch. And then it was a definite plan, 3 innings, maybe 4 today, It was all geared toward 1 month, and that's October. That's all that matters in that front office's mind, because they want a parade, they want more jewelry, and they want to win another championship. And everybody in the organization wants the same exact thing. Everybody in the fan base obviously wants the same thing every year. It's hard to do, but the Dodgers do it more often than most.
I know. Though going back to back would just be, I don't know. I feel like I have to just keep grounding myself, because I know how hard it is, but I can't help but believe that our season and how ups and downs, it's been a roller coaster, that it's really prepared us and given the boys the grit to get through what it's going to take to get it back to back.
Remember when our starters weren't going past 3 innings at one point and our bullpen was taking over the games?
Yep.
I'm not kidding. I called Glasnow a baby. I was like, actually, I didn't call him a baby. I was like, is he even
okay? I remember all those
moment when he was complaining about the dirt on the mound and all that stuff. We were just confused.
The cramps in the legs and this, and I was just like, okay, what is happening? You barely made it 2 innings. What? So, and I'm not trying to be mean. It was solely from just from my point of view of how does it just go from pitchers being able to go to this? It's what is happening? But
again, you don't hear much of it in October, but you do during the regular season.
No, but even now what you're saying, we're good now in October, and we're so happy our team prepares for October, but during the regular season it's really frustrating.
It's a lot of drama. It's up and down. It's you never know. That's the beauty of the game, is because it's played every day, you don't know what's going to happen every day.
I know.
That's why baseball is beautiful. And
that's why it's the best game, because you could have a team that you should wipe out and they beat you 10-1, and you can't figure out why. You got a pitcher that's been lights out, and then he comes in and he can't get an out.
I know. What do I hear? It's you could do the everything right, and it still goes wrong.
Yeah.
Well, great example tonight. Blake Snell went 8 innings, and he had some run support, but not a lot of run support, right? And they very easily could have lost that game.
Yeah.
What do you think Blake Snell is thinking in that dugout watching them score a run?
Didn't you see him? He was like this.
No, I was pacing back and forth. I was hiding behind the wall over here, peeking out. I couldn't watch.
Well, the starting pitcher in that situation usually has a few different lines of thought. But I think the most positive one is let's go get him, because it's going to get him a win. Not that he cares if he gets a decision in October. They really don't care. He's 3-0 in October, which is unbelievable. It's great.
Yeah.
But these guys just want to win games.
Yeah.
And, when Blake walked the first batter and then faces Terang, he's nervous. He's like, okay, let's get this done, because we have no room for error right now. None.
There was one pitch in that walk that I thought should have been a strike, and I was really mad about that, especially because I just wanted it for Blake so bad.
Yeah,
that strike zone was tough. Corner. Honestly, that strike zone was tough tonight. It was kind of all over the place.
Don't get fooled by the box on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, just to let you know. That's not 100% accurate.
But if you're going to put a box on TV,
next year is going to change.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How do you not make it accurate? What?
There was probably 8 or 9 pitches that I saw that dudes would have been doing that bit for.
Wait, can you go ahead, finish that? Go ahead.
So the what's going to happen next year with the automatic ball strike system coming in? We worked with it in spring training this past year, and I've seen it I go to Vegas and see the AAA games, and my son broadcasts the games there, so I go over there when I'm off.
Oh,
and I see the ABS in action over there. So I know how it works, and Major League Baseball has seminars with us, and we had one fairly recently about talking about next year and the implementation. And so when you look at the ABS, the way it measures it from one area of the plate. The what you're looking at there on TV measures it from another area of the plate. So it's going to be the same next year. Both are going to be the same. So it will be accurate next year, or as accurate as it can be. But then you're going to like it on television when a guy taps his head and says, "I want to challenge." They're going to go to a shot of the computer showing everybody at the same time. It's playing in the stadium at the same time as you're seeing it on TV, and it's going to light up a certain color if it's a ball or a strike, and you're going to be able to tell right away. And I think from the television perspective, fans are really going to like it.
Yes.
So you're saying right now we need to give them a little grace?
No, because the umpires generally are really good. When you look at we look at their scorecards, and Rick Monday and I do it all the time. We look at the scorecards and we compare and contrast. But I got a note. In fact, I think I got it right here this is the notepad I took notes on from that seminar. Here it is. Umpires this year set a record for calling balls and strikes accurately.
Wow.
So in 2025, they were 93.5% accurate. 2024, they were 93.1. In 2017, which was the worst in the last several years, it was 91.3.
Wow.
So the zone, in fact, it says right here, the zone will match the TV zone measured from the middle of the plate. So right now, one is at the front of the plate. The ABS will be at the middle of the plate. And that's where TV will move back to next year.
Yeah, so there was a pitch that Blake Trinan threw that was a sweeper that they didn't call that they called a strike, but it looked like it was a ball, and it was a strike because it went across the plate.
Yeah,
and instead of like under,
it's got to come across that front corner.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that where TV doesn't like take into account, but to TV it looks like it was a ball when it wasn't.
So when you're watching on TV and the ball's thrown, you see it from the pitcher's perspective. Mm-hmm. When the ABS happens, it gets reversed, and now you see it from the umpire's perspective.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's quick too. Like I've seen it in minor league games where the dude taps the hat, the PA announcer says, "Hey, the hitter has challenged the ball strike, whatever," and then they review it. They show it on the jumbotron, and then it changes the color, and then it changes the count. Yeah. So it's quick.
This is what they're doing if they want.
So is it the pitcher? The pitcher can only challenge. So is it like an all-star game, or anyone can challenge?
No, pitcher, catcher, hitter. That's it.
Oh.
And you have a certain number. You're only going to have 2 or 3.
I know they're confused because that was our celebration at one point.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to change that.
Yeah.
But so all you got to do is touch it. The catcher can do it too. Now, here's what we found out from the broadcast standpoint: is oftentimes the catcher might say it to the umpire, or he might just go like this really quickly, and from the booth, the umpire's in the way of the catcher. We can't always see it. So it's a matter of figuring out who is challenging, who's doing the challenging.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
okay. So tell me what if the pitcher doesn't want that pitch challenged? What if they want to save it? Like, how do they communicate to be like, this is the one we challenge?
Well, the pitcher has to trust the catcher because he's the guy who had the best view of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's got to be right away. So if and the thing is, there's other slides and stuff that I've seen with statistics from the minor leagues that show that the majority of the challenges come in the 7th inning or later, because the minor leaguers have figured out if you're going to ball in the corner in the 1st inning, why are you going to challenge it there?
Yeah,
you might waste one, and then you might need one in the 8th or 9th, and you don't have it.
And how many challenges are you allowed per game?
I think it's is it 2, or they might go with 3?
I think it's either going to be 2 or 3. I mean, because in the minor leagues right now, it's a higher number, but just because they're testing it all.
Per game or per pitcher?
Per game.
Per game, yeah.
Are you allowed to call timeout and discuss if this is how we want to challenge, or is it like a quick?
You can't get help. Yeah.
Ooh, you can't even phone a friend.
No.
You can't, like the manager or somebody on the bench can't go, "Hey, challenge that." You can't do it.
No.
If they yell and the umpire hears it, he will disallow a challenge.
Wow. Okay, so how do you think?
And it's ejectable too, right?
It is. If it continues to happen.
Yeah.
How do you think a team strategically plans, and like how does a coach, like how do you know when to do it?
It seems like it has to just be instinctual.
Because
I just trust the guys.
They have to trust the players.
I feel like I would be like, not this one.
Yeah, but they listen to our team. They trust each other so much.
Well, I mean, if you watch like,
it's wrong, you're gonna challenge it.
I mean, if you watch the hitters, like watch Ohtani. Like Ohtani, Freeman, Mookie probably have the best feel for the strike zone out of all those guys. If they and Tim knows this too, they don't just react disgusted unless it's a super egregious like miss or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those where like every manager, every pitcher catcher, they're gonna trust their guys to make the right call because they can't waste the bullets either. Because if it's a borderline pitch, it's not really worth it if you really think about it. But if it's something that's completely off the plate, you have to challenge it.
And one thing you're going to have to get used to, and I saw this in a minor league game, is let's say it's a tie game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, and umpire calls a strike, and you challenge. Like you might have a challenge left, you challenge anyway, and you find out it's ball 4, game over.
Yeah.
So you might see ABS end the game.
Oh,
when replay came in, I did the first television game where replay ended a game years ago in Pittsburgh. And it was interesting because you're like, do we really like that? But then you get used to it. And it becomes then the game becomes, I don't know, less fallible, I guess, where you're not going to see as many mistakes. I mean, the NFL tries its hardest to get it right all the time. I think baseball is probably all in all the best officiated sport that there is. These guys are full-time. They're not part-time. The NBA is so fast. You're going to call fouls that aren't. You're going to call some of the things that are or aren't, whatever. Hockey, sometimes they just let everything go, and sometimes they call everything. It just depends. But I think baseball is probably the most consistent, believe it or not. And with replay, even though replay doesn't cover everything, it covers most things. And we're also going to have something in the future that they're going to start testing next year that's going to measure check swings so that you don't have to go down to the first or third base umpire and get an appeal.
There were a few of those tonight I wasn't happy with. But
Tim,
from your point of view inside baseball, are people happy about the new strike system?
I think generally people will be. I think there's a lot of people who don't have an opinion yet. I think there's some people have an opinion. Oh, robo-ump. It's not a robo-ump.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. It's a challenge system. It's just, you still have to have the human element in the game.
I know, but I guess it's like the human error of what an umpire calls that's kind of makes like, sometimes they might get it wrong, but it completely changes. I don't know. I feel like it's like a part of me is like it's a part of the game, but
you're saying 93% for the whole season is right.
93.5.
93. I mean, 93.5 is that's still really good, right? But there's still a big margin of error. But I've been to a handful of minor league games where they've used it, and it does. I was honestly like, oh, it's going to be like a robo-ump situation, and it's not. I think fans will embrace it once they learn it. Yeah. And then I think the players, especially like the veterans, because as we know, Tim, the veterans are the ones that are usually the ones that are a little hesitant with some of the stuff that are from the older generation, if you will, and managers and coaches. But once they see how quick it is and how accurate it is, I think everyone will be like, okay, this is cool, because you're not going to use it all the time either. It's only going to be 2 or 3 times a game.
Well, they'll
like it when it's to their team.
Yeah, I was like,
when their team gets a good.
I was like, I think I'm only going to hate it when it's like they call it against us.
Yeah, people will. I guarantee you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of a cool thing. I think you guys will like it. You can see it again in this spring when we start our spring training games in February. We should get our spring schedule here in another couple of weeks, but.
Poor guys, you're not even done with the
million
game season, and it's like, get ready for February.
That's why it's going to be longer this year too.
Yeah,
this will be a long spring training because of the World Baseball Classic. The last two springs, of course, we went to Korea and then Japan, so our time in Arizona was short compared to everybody else. This year is going to be longer, so we're going to have 30, 35 games probably, something like that.
We've got to go to at least.
We went to spring training and Tokyo this year.
Oh, did you?
Like the Venezuelan one. I want to go to all of them.
Where is it?
There's some in Miami. There's
some in Miami, Arizona.
There's some everywhere.
So as we wrap this guy up for where we're at now, thank you, first of all, Tim, for joining us, because always having your insight. You're obviously one of my favorite people to chat ball with in general, but getting your perspective from this side on during the postseason it makes me not question stuff as hard as I normally am. So thank you for being the voice of reason to me.
Thanks. And it's good to get that win on the road. That's huge.
It's huge. Oh, it's huge, especially because I think people forget they're in the middle part of the series when you're not the one hosting the first 2 games. You get 3 games at home. So if
the last
you
at bat, 3 straight days. So
3 straight days.
That's a big deal.
Oh yeah. And especially as a starting pitcher, because you're on a mound that you're used to, like the whole thing. So it's 100% a big thing. Speaking of mounds, real quick, we got to give Blake Snell's flowers one last time. Blake Snell is the first pitcher in history with 8+ innings pitched, 1 hit or fewer, 0 walks, 10 Ks in a postseason game. Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What did we just watch tonight? And then I feel like I looked up and it was the 7th inning, and I was just like,
it was.
How did it go by fast?
It was so fast.
That's when you're out there throwing a gem. It's gonna fly. Because he was efficient.
15 in a row, the game flies.
And let's hope it's like that tomorrow for Yoshi.
Yes. Well, we should do this again. If you're around, Tim, would love to do this again with you.
Yep, sure.
And most importantly, thank you for all of you that joined us. The Talk Dodgers to Me ladies. If you're not following them, please follow them. They're great. They're a great follow. Evidently, they were moving a studio today, and they still made time to join us here. So thank you for joining us. It's always a good time.
Always happy to be here.
Yes,
always talking with you, Alonso and Tim. This has been so fun to listen to you. We've listened to you for a long time, so to listen to you and hear just how you see the game and your thoughts is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks. No, it's fun. I always enjoy talking.
Any more questions, but maybe you'll come on our show.
Just ask. That's all.
Yeah, Timmy's one of the good ones, and to pull a curtain back a little bit, I know him in real life, and he's one of the good ones on and off the court, on and off the field. So Timmy, thank you. I really appreciate you for joining us, and we'll do it again.
He's calling it Timmy.
I know. Only my sister and my wife get to do that. So,
hey, well, either way, Tim Neverett, thank you for joining us. Talk Dodgers to Me. Follow them. This is Baseball Isn't Boring. And hopefully you didn't think that baseball was boring after all the stuff that we just riffed about. Joe Kelly and friends, we're on a mission to show you that baseball isn't boring. So check us all out, follow us, and maybe we'll catch you after tomorrow's game. We'll see where life takes us. But until then, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one.
And go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Go Blue.
Perfect.